So on this next problem, we're asked to find the midpoint. It's the same 2 points that we used in our last problem. I was pretty lazy and just copied and pasted, but we're asked to find the midpoint. So you got to be careful. One of them said distance, this one says midpoint, which means you need to know the midpoint formula, which is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. The way I remember this is like it's an average. So if you take like 2 test exams, you add them up, divide by 2, that's the average. So we're just taking the x values, adding them up, divide by 2, because there's 2 x's, so it's just the average, okay? The other thing you just need to be careful of is to label your x1, y1, and x2, y2, so that when you plug it in, you don't make any mistakes. So x1 is 5, plus x2 is negative 1 over 2. And then I have y1, which is negative 2, plus y2, which is 3. So I have 5 plus a negative 1, that's 4 over 2. Negative 2 plus 3, that's 1, 1 over 2. And 4 halves reduces to 2. 1 half can't reduce, so my midpoint is 2 comma a half. For the next 3 problems, we need to use the center formula. So I'm going to go ahead and just put your center formula over here. And you might consider writing it near the top of your paper when you do this page, so that you have it handy. It says write the equation of the circle centered at negative 8 comma 2, so that's my h comma k, and a radius of root 7, so that is r. And then leave your equation in standard form. So my formula says x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So as long as I'm putting in the right forms, the right h and k and r in the right spot, it shouldn't be too bad, and then I just have to clean it up a little bit. So x minus h. H is negative 8, so the minus in red is because of the minus in the formula. The negative in green is because the 8 is negative, okay? And on the next one we have y minus k. K is 2, so which is y minus 2, equals r squared. So r is root 7. Now you can't leave it like this and get full credit because no one writes minus a negative. Instead of minus a negative, we're going to add a line and change the sign and write instead x plus 8 squared plus y minus 2 squared. Also, the square and the square root undo each other and you're just left with 7. And this is my final answer. For the next problem, the following equations, make sure you state the center and radius of each graph. This is a circle and it's not in the right form. So I need to spend a little bit of time to put it in the right form. So I'm going to collect up my x's. I have x squared minus 4x. Then I'm going to collect up the y's, and that's y squared plus 6y. I'm also going to put a blank after the x terms and a blank after the y terms. And then that 4 that was all by itself, the constant, I'm going to move to the other side. Now I put blanks in here because I'm going to come and complete my square. And I'm going to add something on the left to complete my square. So if I add something to the left, then I have to add something to the right to keep it fair or equal. The rule for completing the square is divide by 2 and square. So I'm going to take the middle term and divide by 2 and then square it. So x squared minus 4x, taking the negative 4 and dividing it by 2 and getting negative 2. That's where I put that right here, negative 2. Now I'm going to take negative 2 and square it. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So this part in red, x squared minus 4x plus 4, does truly factor into x minus 2 squared. Now, if I add 4 to the left, I also have to add 4 to the right, just to be fair. Okay, let's talk about the blue. Divide by 2 and square. If you take 6 divided by 2, positive 6 divided by 2 is positive 3, and that goes in the blank right next to the y. Don't forget you have to have a squared in order to factor a trinomial with y squared. You're going to have 2 terms, 2 factors, and that's y plus 3, y plus 3. Now, in order for this to be true, I have to square positive 3. Positive 3 squared is 9, and if you add it to the left, you have to add it to the right. now I can add all of the values here. -4 plus 4 is 0, and 0 plus 9 is 9. This is what goes in the standard form blank. Once it's in standard form, I can take the opposite of h and k, which is going to be a positive 2. X minus 2, the opposite of minus 2 is positive 2. Y plus 3, the opposite of plus 3 is minus 3. The radius is going to be the square root of the constant on the right-hand side. So the square root of 9 is 3. So the radius is 3. Then I can graph that 2 comma negative 3. That's my center. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, put a dot, right 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, left 1, 2, 3. And then I do my very best to make these arcs so that it's not a diamond, a baseball diamond. We don't want a baseball diamond. I'm not going to be super picky that it's a perfect circle. Clearly mine is not a perfect circle, but I'll have students like think it's a baseball diamond, so they'll go straight and then curve and then straight and then curve and then straight. And clearly that's not a circle, okay? So try to make it as arced as you can. Okay, the last one is already in standard form, so yay. All you have to do is find the h and k. Okay, that's the opposite of -4, which is +4. The opposite of +2, which is -2. And then we have the radius, which is going to be the square root of 19. Now, root 19, I don't know what that is in my head. And if you had a calculator, you could probably figure it out. But let's pretend you don't have a calculator. So if I know that root 19 is sandwiched somewhere between root 16 and root 25, because 19 is between them. I know the square root of 16 is 4. I know the square root of 25 is 5. So the square root of 19 must be 4 point something. Okay. Now the answer that I'm giving you credit for is root 19. But how are you going to plot root 19? Well, it's going to be difficult. So I'm going to go to my center, +4 comma -2. Then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and sum. Okay. Do we know exactly where? No, but just between 4 and 5, somewhere in there. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle or closer to one or the other. We just need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a little bit extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a little bit extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a little bit extra. And you can use those marks to connect your circle. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just have to try not to be like a diamond, okay? And that concludes our practice exam 5. Good luck on your test.